For the next little demo, I'm going to show you transitions. Now, transition is where you're making slight changes to sort of alter an object or a figure. Okay, so I'm going to use my clay, and you could also, something good to do would be, I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do this, but also the Play-Doh, of course, is going to work really well, and I can use my coins to make transition as well. And again, every time you put something in front of your camera, it's got to readjust and make sure that you let's take this down. All right, I'm now going to show you transitions and how that works. So I'm going to be using my plasticine, Play-Doh. Hopefully you've been able to make some. It would be great to use this, but you can also use some smaller objects and some bigger objects and medium-sized objects if they're roughly the same shape or form. Okay. Now before I start out, I'm going to want this to be in the same place every time. So I'm just going to put a little dot right there. That way, because I'm going to need to take this out of frame and alter it slightly and then put it back. And every time I do it, I got to wait and so that this thing can refocus. So I'm going to make some slight changes. Make sure I get thing refocuses. And when I'm done, you'll see that if it didn't refocus, it'll be a little blurry in one spot, which is okay. Again, just making little changes to my clay. And I'm going to start reposition that a little bit, be a little off, but this is what the dot's for. So I can put it there, line it up, so that it's still in the same place, roughly. And again, little, whoops, changes. So I'm kind of doing a little combination movement, transition. I'm still trying to stretch the clay. And then I'm actually going to do a combination here. I'm going to go ahead and move this out of frame. Again, I'm doing the same thing I did before, where I did a lot of captures at the beginning, or I did a lot of where I did not as much movement, so I was moving it in small amounts. The beginning, in the middle, I was moving it a lot further. And then I'm going to do a little funky thing here at the end. Going to mark that. And do another little transition where I'm going to transition this into like smaller little bits. And I'll show you how this looks with coins as well. And then one more little tiny one. And then out of frame. And let's see what that looks like. Oh, that's some pretty good little transitions there. And a nice little movement as well. And you see how the transition there, when it gets all the way to the bottom and it just kind of like, shrinks into nothing. It looks like it's dissolving into the paper. And all I did was just replace it with pieces of clay that were in the same spot over and over again and just made them smaller and smaller. So we're going to try that next with the pennies.